All right, thank you very much. Going on to our letters and petitions, you'll see in addition for an item C2, let's make a move for approval on C1 first. Could I have a motion, please?
Move approval.
Second.
Motion by Snyder, second by Wojcik. All those in anything further? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Item C2, there's been a request by the letter writer that he would like to speak. Is the consensus of the council okay with that?
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right,
Yep.
thank you. Mr. Burke? State your name for the record, please.
My name is Jay Burke, 4201 Manor View Drive, Northwest in Rochester. Before you have a letter that I've drafted specifically addressing a episode that happened at the last council meeting. I feel very uncomfortable of what happened there. Specifically, during a public hearing, a representative from the Rochester Builders was presenting their side of the issue and proceeded to get questioned in items and subjects that were totally irrelevant to the tree issue at hand. I felt that was uncalled for. I believe that was not proper decorum, and I believe that created a great deal of embarrassment. I've talked to several of the council members that they were embarrassed by it. I've talked to many of the individuals in the audience. They were embarrassed by it, and I believe it was uncalled for. I think that the public hearings are for public input, not necessarily to get questioned by the city council. You are the representatives of the city. I think there's a certain decorum that needs to be followed. If it was a single issue, I would probably have dropped it. There have been several times where the individual, Mr. Wojcik, has made disparaging comments about certain builders in Rochester without knowing the history behind it, and I believe that was uncalled for. The building industry in Rochester has been foremost in being involved in the community. We have been involved in many different commissions. I've served on the Planning Commission. I am presently the chairman of the Energy Commission. I been involved in the drafting of the tree ordinance, and we have attempted to work on a cooperative effort to make the city better. And I believe that this type of thing should not be called for, and I personally believe that there should be a public apology to Mr. Lerman, and I promise that it will not happen again.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
In going over this note, I noticed the line on subject matter unrelated to the tree ordinance, but unfortunately, in order for me to respond, there would have to be an example given, and there's actually not a single example given in the letter. Could you elaborate on specifically which question did not pertain to the tree ordinance?
I believe the question, do you feel that smoke detectors are a necessary safety issue? That has absolutely nothing to do with the tree ordinance. Tree ordinance does not have anything to do with safety, as do many building codes.
You also go on to say that Mr. Wojcik has on several occasions criticized the activities of several prominent builders, both commercial and residential.
Yes.
Again, you provide no examples.
For an example, I believe there were several comments made about Mr. DeWitt's and the issue that he had on 7th Street with a failure of a slope. You know nothing of the history. That design did not come from Mr. DeWitt's. As a matter of fact, Mr. DeWitt's on several occasions specifically stated that it would not work. Public Works says, no, this is the way you will do it. As it was, where there's a failure, and all of a sudden Mr. DeWitt's is the, quote, bad guy in this issue. Mr. DeWitt's has probably been one of the more prominent builders in the city of Rochester. He has provided more affordable housing than any other single builder in Rochester, and has been known to stand behind his product probably better than many other builders in Rochester.
Well, I certainly respect your belief that Mr. DeWitt's is a quality builder. I would ask one last question with regards to the decorum that you reference. Where is this decorum that you're referencing?
I believe there's a certain decorum that all city officials should carry. You are representing the city of Rochester and their citizens. There's a certain decorum that I believe should be followed. Just as I served on the Planning Commission, during that time, there were certain things that we obviously always allowed the public to speak. That's one of the reasons for the public comments. And the fact that we did not condemn or basically downplay that individual that's speaking at that point in time. That by no means is what happened during the tree ordinance.
So is this decorum available anywhere?
I think it may not be spelled out, but I think anybody that serves as a public official is aware that what is proper in the field of serving as a representative of the city.
All right, I'll certainly respond if everyone else is done with their questions.